the future of HR, what can we expect? What are the major trends that we can expect in 2011 and beyond? The first thing that you need to realize is the last 10 years have been chaotic. Time magazine called it the decade from hell. It was horrible. We had ups and downs and sideways, layoffs, growth. It was just chaotic. And so what we need is to figure out, is that going to continue? So I'm predicting we're going to have chaos for the next 10 years, maybe even longer. Rapid change, international competition, things are going to change at the speed that most HR practices are just not ready for. The response to chaos is agility. The HR of the future, you're going to see agile strategies, and there's already agile in the business, and that means a range of options. So if you know anything about hunting, you can shoot a bullet out of a rifle, it's very narrow, or you can use a shotgun, which are broader scope. So instead of having single targets in HR, we're going to have broader targets, and we're going to be able to move up and down. When you have an up and down environment, there is one solution that for some reason we've ignored, is contingent workforce. Is that most people around the world are difficult to fire, regular employees are difficult, and managers don't have the courage to do that. So contingent workers are people on short-term contracts that we can get rid of without legal or even management issues. So I expect to see contingent workers to grow to 40–50% of the workforce. Why? Because they're easy to release. They're also easy to add. So if you need something, you can hire contingent or contractors, bring them in. So that's going to be a major trend. Next, as the economy improves, retention is going to be an issue, and the war for talent is going to return. We already see that in some jobs, but remember fighting for people. Remember that war for talent. That's coming back, and we might have forgotten how to fight it, but we should. HR is going to learn from other business functions. So if you look at functions that become famous after being just an overhead function, supply chain comes to mind, or lean manufacturing, or some of these other areas. So we're going to learn to adapt. HR is going to learn from other business functions. Next, technology. You can have a call center with lots of people in it, or you can have an IVR or a voice system that answers calls. So in HR, we've always hired employees. We've always been biased towards people. But guess what? We're going to have to now add to our agenda or our menu, would you like a robot instead of an employee? Would you like software instead of hiring an employee? Technology is now becoming a viable solution, and we need to work with the CIO to be in that game so that someone says, what do I need? Sometimes you need employees, sometimes you don't. Next trend, competitive intelligence or business intelligence. HR has been isolated, internally focused. That's a mistake. The business world is changing rapidly. We need to know what's going on. So for example, if you have a retention effort and you find your chief talent competitor has a hiring freeze, you don't need to worry because they're not hiring. That means you're not losing people. Customer relationship management is another tool that we're going to see become a trend. It's already used in customer relationships, obviously, but it's also going to be used for applicant relationships, used for employee relationships. How can we manage our employees, keep them excited, keep them moving, keep them doing what they need to do using these great tools? Competitive advantage is that new programs are going to be developed to continually improve. So let's say you do a great website, it's better than your competitors, super, but you can't assume they're not going to change, they're going to update it. Now the best practice leader is certainly Google. If you look at how most companies do HR, it's kind of an art, but Google does it as a science. They have algorithms, they have data, they have all sorts of things. The other best practice would be Apple. If you look at Apple, their stock price is through the roof, their products are incredible, everyone innovates there. And so what is that model we can use in HR so that we can push innovation? It's nice to be efficient, it's nice to be cost cutting, but it turns out that you make a lot of money in business by being there first with its great innovation. So we need to learn from Google and Apple. The future of HR isn't like General Motors, it's not like the federal government, it's going to be like Google and Apple, and they're totally different. So it's exciting, but different.